is a special place. There's no bitumen roads, there's no concrete. There's an array of fish available. If you know the spots, there's whiting, there's flathead, there's bream, there's tailor, there's mackerel at times of the season. Then you go outside, and outside I think it's about 20 minutes away to the first mark. So you're catching snapper and pearlies, dolphin fish. A very central spot with fish all 360 around you. And how could you not like the view behind me? So yeah, she's pretty spot on. My name's Paul, run a panel shop in Brizzy. I do a lot of fishing, that's why I'm over here, and that's why I bought a boat, the Shockwave. It's a Shockwave BreakseaX Series X, and it's 100%. That's its name. The faster you go on that boat, the better it is. I think I've got the nickname for 40 knots over here now. It handles whatever speed graciously. Everything about it, it's perfect. We're at Coringal, so it's the most southern point. I think there's about 77 establishment houses, lots. Yeah, closest to Stradbroke Island, Point Lookout, Amity Point, and then that's the South Passage Bar, which is our exit down here to get out into the deep water. Good spot. Coming to Moreton when I was a kid with my dad and my mum, we started us coming over as a family group sort of thing, and you'd catch a couple of hundred whiting together, and yeah, good times. Started doing that, and then as I progressed, we had a 3,000 sports fisher, Kevlar Cat, and sort of got a little bit better and spent more time. And then, yeah, since I've had the Shockwave, the gate's sort of been opened and I've been unleashed, which has been, yeah, very exciting. Day one, I think we went as far as we possibly could with what we had on the boat. I think we did 300 kilometres in a round trip, so we went to the Barwon Banks, which has always been sort of an idea, but I just didn't think I had the reach in the older boats. Getting some live bait at the M8 off Brisbane. Going outside to get some AJs and maybe some reds and a few snapper, I reckon. Hit the pearl perch on the southern Barwon Banks. I reckon we'll be there in about 40 to 50 minutes. It's around 30k. Good day out in the water and perfect conditions for once. No rain. Yeah, we've got Andrew, the boat builder, and Luke and Paulie, my deckies. Luke's just finished doing some renos on the house over here, and Paulie just loves his fishing. He's keen as. I don't think he's had more than an hour's sleep. Thinking about tying his knots all day. Pretty keen fishers, and good mates from back in Brizzy. So we went up there, we started fishing at the southern end and sort of moved our way up to the northern end. We didn't do that good up there. It was tough going. A bit of a northwesterly wind was blowing pretty hard. There was lots of whales around everywhere. I think every 2 minutes you'd look up and see a different one jumping or breaching. Then we went all the way up to the northern end and then came back down on the eastern side of Moreton Island and then back through the South Passage Bar and fished along the way. I think that's where we got our bag of snapper on the way home. And again, the array of fish, a few tuna. Yeah, that was good casting at them and having a bit of fun. And then day two, we got out that bar again. We sort of just stuck around close because the forecast wasn't going to be the best for the day, and had another quick fish. I think we were out there for about 3 or 4 hours and caught our bag, came back in, and mate, I think we went to the gutter bar and had a bit of lunch. Wade from Moreton Bay Rock Oysters came down and gave us the biggest seafood feast I think I've seen in a long time. Oysters and fresh oysters and oysters Kilpatrick, and exceptional service from him, and also the butcher shop. Thank you for that. Yeah, so the conditions in the bay are pretty shit at times. You've got the southerly swell that comes through. If a northerly picks up, you've got a strong westerly, 30, 40 knots. Shockwave is just incredible to handle. The ride's flat and high, there's no hit. You always slow down when you see that big wave coming towards you. When you hit it in this boat, it sort of cushions, it lowers you down, and you feel comfortable. You don't get that big jolt. You don't get water over the top of the screen. It takes it, and it takes it really well. So yeah, it'll be 18 months that I've had the boat. I haven't felt uncomfortable once, and haven't been in any sort of danger. And I've been through thousands of different weather types, going back and forth 100 times bloody a year, but haven't had anything that has worried me yet. So. Fuel capacity is 800 litres, twin 400 litre tanks, so one on the port, one on the starboard. I think they're pretty mid-ranged. The length is 10.1 metres. The width, I think, is a 3 metre beam. The Yemis that I've got on it, they're 300s V6s. They're a big looking motor.
Yeah, look, most of our boats this size, they're all topping out just a shade under 50 knots with the 300s, so it's a really good combo. Good fuel burn.
That's full of fuel too. Yeah, there's no lag, there's nothing. It's instant power, and they feel nice, they sound nice. Mate, I took everything that he suggested, to be honest. The hand water pump is fantastic off the side of the boat to wash your hands with fresh water. The rod holders at the back of the roof, mate, the beds, the toilet, everything that was suggested, even the Shockwave seat in the rough weather when I'm sitting down and enjoying it. Not saying the other seats don't perform, because that's just a bit of foam, but the boat is that comfortable that you probably don't even need that Shockwave seat, because it just absorbs everything. But you got cupboards, multiple cupboards down the side. I took as much storage as I could. We went with the insulated ice bucket on one side, and that performed. I think we put 10 bags of ice in it, and it's still cold, and it's still a nice slurry today, and that was on Wednesday, and today's Saturday. So I think that's. I went with the live bait tank. That's a pretty good option, especially off here. We're fishing for mahi or amberjacks at Square Patch. That helps, because it's a big tank. I think it's about 40 litres. Dive door on the side, benefit getting in and out, dragging luggage through instead of lifting it over and doing your back. The back bulkhead with an open window and a closing door blocks out the elements completely, takes the sound level inside the cabin to zero, and you can have a normal conversation. So little fold down seat on the other side of that for whoever wants to sit outside and have a look on the way home at your wake that you're leaving and the sun going down. But electronics, all Garmin. The boys down at Stones Corner Marine helped me out with the decision there, and a good friend of mine who's been fishing most of his life. So we set that up, 16-inch screens. They were spot on. A GDS 28 in there, which is amped it up a lot for the deeper stuff. But every option I got, I think that joystick is the best option I've taken on a boat before. Handy. Satellite, Garmin, radar, which is handy with the whales. Transducers, we've got a high frequency and a low frequency in either hull. Fusion sound system through the whole boat. We just put the Halo lighting system at the back of it. Also put a Victron battery module in there, so I can see it on my phone, my watch. It all links up through Garmin, and that's quite handy having a solar boat. No ship to shore power going on, so yeah, it charges off the grid. Yeah, pretty self-sufficient there. I just need the petrol to drive me along.
There was quite a few neat little features that we've added in for Paul. So we've got our live bait tank, something that we're building in-house. It's all infused fiberglass and had some liveys in there for most of the day, so they survived pretty well, I think.
Works very well.
Heaps of locker doors and so on for storage. We've got saltwater deck wash, that comes standard. Everything we do is pretty good quality. So that's the top of the range Jabsco deck wash. And also the freshwater shower on the back deck, that's a standard option. A lot of the boats that you would have seen on the Captain, they've got the long lounge on the port side and a step down, we call it, up to the bathroom and bedroom at the front. But this one we've gone for the central access door, trifold door. They're made locally and a fantastic piece of kit. And then we've extended the dash all the way across, so we've got some grab rails on there. Paul's added the sea deck on there, which I found that was really handy, actually. Nothing sliding off the dash or anything. Yeah. Through my experience at Marine Rescue, there's some things there's quite a lot of elements that have actually made their way into the boats, and you might not think about it at first glance, but you can stand at the helm, you can see all four corners of the boat, which means that pulling the boat alongside a jetty or pulling up to another boat, you can do that without damaging, which is great. Fishing, you can see what the deck crew are doing. Having the clear windows at the front means that nighttime navigation's good. It is pretty hot up here, so Paul's given that a very light tint, and it's a special type of tint that
yeah, ceramic coating, so it takes around 10 degrees or 12 degrees off the outside temperature, which is very comfortable.
Running our standard dash on here, dash console, and that'll take up to two 16-inch Garmins. We use the Blue Sea switch panels as standard, so they're a really good, robust piece of kit. All the Helmmaster system from Yamaha.
Build, I think, took about 9 months. So the build process with the updates and everything like that, that was easy. I didn't have to do anything. They were doing the work. The webcam was fantastic. Logging onto it, I think there was a moment where it went still for a while. And I was like, what's going on? Tapping this, come on. But no, every morning you go to work and look for the update, and when there was an update, you'd re-look at it 16 times. So no, it was pretty good. It was pretty exciting to actually watch your boat get built. big adventure in the boat. I think we're going to do another overnighter up at the Barwon Banks now that I know we can actually get there. The fuel wasn't an issue. Once you get up there, we had plenty to get home. So I think, yeah, that's going to be my next thing, and go and catch some big pearlies and hopefully get into some red territory and give that a crack. Otherwise, I'd like to go out deep off Moreton here and Southport and go and try and get some bigger stuff on the electrics. Yeah, the Argo, hey, that's my transport. That's the local the water taxi that I use. Fantastic little machine, saves me getting wet. Goes anywhere. How does it work? It's an 8-wheeler, so I think they're designed in Canada to get around the mud pits, or they've got a lot of wetlands up there, so you can put tracks on them, but yeah, it's chain driven, 4 chains either side, sort of like a bicycle really, and with a lawnmower motor, and it's loud as, but it's pretty fun. Every single memory I have over here is a good one. And yeah, I think the fishing with my dad was probably the best, but he didn't like going outside, so sort of was limited with that. But from there on in, you just grow friends. Like your neighbour becomes your friend, the neighbour beside them. So you start a little community as well, which is good. Everyone helps out everyone when you do need something. There's an emergency call up, so it's good. What I love most about it, I think I've got access to a boat like that. I've got access to a view like this behind me, and to the friendly people around, and how tranquil it is. You know, your phone sits on the bench. You don't have to. There's no traffic. There's no smog. There's no city life. It's pretty tranquil coming over. So I think the best thing I enjoy, or the most favourite thing I enjoy, is going to Manly, getting on the boat, and knowing that I'm coming here, and knowing I'm going to get here 100%. Every time I come, it still gives me that same feeling.